If there's anything about Spain, we kind of associate them with tiki-taka.
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 Is tiki-taka dead?
For the first time in over 16 years, Spain's remarkable run of 136 consecutive matches with more possession than their opponents has finally ended. Rather than lament the demise of this possession-based golden era, however, many are heralding it as the dawn of an exciting new chapter for La Roja, one that has been brewing for some time, well before the start of Euro 2024. In this video, we'll explore Spain's story, successes with the famed tiki-taka, delve into the key factors driving their shift away from that philosophy, and examine what this could mean for the future of their national team. So get ready as we dive into why Spain are suddenly amazing again. After years in the shadows, Spain's national team burst onto the world stage in the late 2000s with their golden generation of players. This period marked 4 years of dominance that saw them crowned European champions in 2008 and 2012, as well as lifting the coveted World Cup trophy in 2010. At the heart of this unprecedented dominance was Spain's possession-heavy style of play, tiki-taka. Tiki-taka has its roots in the revolutionary Catalan football pioneered by Johan Cruyff's Barcelona in the early 1990s, but its most successful proponent was Pep Guardiola. During the same period as Spain's incredible international success, Guardiola's Barcelona was demolishing the club game, winning an astonishing 14 out of 19 trophies available to them between 2008 and 2012. After the Euro 2008 triumph under Luis Aragonés, Spain's tiki-taka style became more defined under his successor, Vicente Del Bosque. In his lineups, Del Bosque sought to field as many ball-playing midfielders as possible, including the iconic Barca trio of Sergio Busquets, Andrés Iniesta, and Xavi, as well as Xabi Alonso of Real Madrid and David Silva of Manchester City. Truly a once-in-a-lifetime generation, that Spain team smothered their opponents with possession, even if it meant settling with narrow-margin wins at tournament games. At the 2010 World Cup, for instance, they won each of their knockout games 1-0, including the final against the Netherlands, where they had 63% possession over the 120 minutes. And even when striker David Villa was injured ahead of Euro 2012, Del Bosque's bold decision to deploy midfielder Cesc Fabregas as a false nine still delivered Spain a third successive international trophy, thrashing Italy 4-0 in the final with 52% of the ball. As their golden generation approached retirement, La Roja's fanatic devotion to possession-first football began yielding more mixed results. As early as 2014, Del Bosque himself felt they needed to evolve and become more direct, calling up the rampaging Brazilian-born striker Diego Costa for the 2014 World Cup. Every Spain coach since then, including Julen Lopetegui, Fernando Hierro, Luis Enrique, and Robert Moreno, has talked about modernizing the team by adding verticality and pace in attack. Despite these efforts, their teams largely continued to rely on a possession-first approach. As Spain's tiki-taka dominance reached its zenith, opponents began to discover a surefire antidote. Sit deep, soak up the pressure, and strike on the counter or from set pieces. This tactical shift led to some of the biggest embarrassments in Spain's football history. Against host Russia in the last 16 of the 2018 World Cup, Spain had a staggering 79% possession and took 23 shots, but ultimately scored just once before their elimination on penalties. At the same stage of the competition 4 years later in Qatar, Enrique's side recorded 77% possession and completed over 1,000 passes against Morocco, but mustered only one shot on target throughout the 120 minutes, and once again lost in the resulting shootout. The process of Spain turning away from possession-first football began with Luis de la Fuente's appointment as the team's coach in 2022. This pivotal change came on the heels of Spain's shock exit from the World Cup at the hands of Morocco, which provided the perfect catalyst for change. However, De La Fuente's road to transforming the national team has not been entirely smooth. In the early stages of his tenure, he seemingly struggled to establish a clear identity, cycling through nearly 50 players in his first 10 matches. A damaging defeat to Scotland in his second game in charge also added to the pressure from the get-go. Off-field scandals have threatened to derail De La Fuente's time in charge as well. In the wake of the scandal involving Luis Rubiales during the Women's World Cup final, he was criticized for applauding the disgraced RFEF president's infamous social assassination speech. Though De La Fuente swiftly apologized, there was pressure for him to stand down. The manager eventually weathered those storms, and as his reign progressed, he gradually settled on a core group of players and a pragmatic style. De La Fuente's new approach was on full display in the Euro 2024 group games. Against Croatia, Spain had just 47% possession, fewer shots, and a lower expected goals ratio. However, with 5 shots on target, the same as their opponents, they were ruthlessly efficient. Spain's opening goal came from a counterattack, with Fabian Ruiz producing a quick pass to release Alvaro Morata for a cool finish. Goals from Ruiz and Dani Carvajal, both involving Lamine Yamal, meant the result was decided by halftime. Spain's new style has not been as easy on the eye as previous iterations of the national team, but the public has been able to stomach this for several reasons. Firstly, there is a wide acceptance that this is a team in transition. Tiki-taka's on-field architects such as Gerard Piqué, Jordi Alba, Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets have all retired from international football, and De La Fuente has shown a willingness to give a younger generation time to find their feet. The fresh injection of exciting talent and a need to alter their approach to maximize their impact has also been pivotal in Spain's shift away from tiki-taka. The best example of this new approach is Lamine Yamal, the ridiculously talented teenager who is one of the best one-on-one dribblers around. To maximize his directness, De La Fuente has given him the freedom to break rank and take on defenders. The same applies to Nico Williams, who enjoyed a scintillating campaign with Athletic Bilbao last season. In previous Spain sides, those out wide, the likes of Pedro, Iniesta, and David Silva in 2010 for example, would constantly drift centrally to help circulate possession. But now, with pace in their wingers, the focus is on direct, penetrative runs. The new-look Spain attack is spearheaded by target man Alvaro Morata, who lacks any false nine traits. His goal against Croatia proved this more direct approach can succeed, as he stretched the opposing defense, occupied multiple markers, and continually got into the box, evidenced by the 9 crosses Spain delivered, one of which led to Carvajal's goal. Secondly, it's been hard to argue with Spain's results since De La Fuente's appointment. Since that Scotland defeat, they've lost only 2 of the 12 games leading up to Euro 2024, a run that included a satisfying UEFA Nations League triumph. However, it's worth noting that this Spain still boasts ample ball-playing talent, especially in midfield with Rodri, Fabian Ruiz, and Pedri. They continued averaging 68% possession in De La Fuente's games in charge before Croatia, and registered more against Italy and Albania, suggesting a gradual transition and greater adaptability depending on the opponent. There's little doubt that Spain's squad has enough quality to trouble most teams in the competition, as the prospect of facing the likes of Germany in the quarterfinal looms. However, the true test of this new pragmatic approach lies ahead. How far do you think Spain will go in the tournament? Share your predictions in the comments below. Spain's shift away from tiki-taka marks the end of an era, but it's also the beginning of an exciting new chapter. With a blend of young talent and a more pragmatic approach, La Roja is poised yet again to become a dominant force in international football. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more football news, stories, and insights. Also, don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a beat. And with that, we'll see you in the next video.